The snow had been falling since sunset, thick and quiet, the kind that swallowed sound and made the world feel abandoned. Her patrol car sat lifeless on the side of a dark country road, hazard lights blinking weakly like a fading heartbeat. The female cop stepped out into the cold, her boots sinking into fresh snow, her breath sharp in her lungs. It was Christmas Eve, and she was lost, alone, radio dead, phone battery gone, miles from anywhere familiar. The badge on her chest felt heavier than ever before, not with authority, but with the weight of everything she had lost to get here. Before the story pulls you deeper into this night, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel name if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of humanity showing up when it matters most. She had taken the shift on purpose. Holidays were easier when she stayed busy, when there was no time to think about empty apartments or unanswered messages. The past year had stripped her life down to its bare bones. A broken engagement, a strained relationship with her family, and the constant pressure of proving herself in a job that demanded toughness but rarely offered warmth. She told herself she was strong, trained, prepared. But standing there in the snow, with darkness pressing in from all sides, she felt something close to fear, raw and unfamiliar. The road she'd been dispatched to patrol was supposed to be simple. A quiet stretch, minimal traffic, just routine presence. But a wrong turn, then another, and the GPS began spinning uselessly before shutting down altogether. The radio crackled once and died. When the engine finally sputtered and stopped, the silence was complete. No houses. No street lights. Just trees bending under snow and a sky the color of iron. She tried walking, hoping to find help, but the cold bit through her uniform, stiffening her fingers and slowing her steps. Each breath burned. Training told her to stay with the vehicle, but instinct told her she couldn't just wait and freeze. Minutes stretched into something longer, heavier. Christmas songs from distant memories played in her head like echoes from another life. Several miles away, a single dad named Daniel was finishing the last of his chores for the night. His small farmhouse glowed warmly against the snow, windows lit, smoke curling from the chimney. Inside, his young daughter slept on the couch under a blanket, clutching a handmade ornament. Christmas had been quiet since his wife passed 2 years earlier. He did his best to make it special, but grief had a way of hollowing things out. Still, he believed in small acts, hot meals, open doors, showing up. When Daniel noticed strange blinking lights through the trees while taking out the trash, he paused. They didn't belong there. The road nearby rarely saw traffic, especially on a night like this. Something in him stirred, the same instinct that had carried him through long nights with a sick child and lonely mornings after loss. He grabbed his coat, boots, and flashlight without overthinking it. The walk was harder than he expected. Snow swallowed the path, and the cold clawed at his face. But then he saw her, standing near the dead patrol car, shoulders tense, eyes scanning the dark. She looked smaller than he imagined a cop would, younger somehow, like someone holding herself together through sheer will. He didn't approach loudly or suddenly. He made sure she saw him coming, his flashlight low, his hands visible. Relief crossed her face before professionalism snapped back into place. She explained the situation quickly, her voice steady but tired. He listened, nodding, taking it all in. He didn't ask questions that didn't matter. He didn't judge. He simply said his house was close, warm, and had a working phone. The decision wasn't easy for her. Trust didn't come automatically anymore. But the cold was winning, and something about his calm presence felt safe, grounded. She followed him through the snow, step by careful step, toward the distant glow of his home. Inside, warmth wrapped around her instantly. The smell of soup simmering on the stove, pine from a small Christmas tree in the corner, the quiet hum of a heater, it all hit her at once. Her hands trembled as the cold left them. Daniel handed her a blanket, then poured her something hot without asking. No pressure. No expectations. His daughter stirred, blinking sleepily, then smiled when she saw a guest. In that simple moment, something inside the cop cracked open. She hadn't realized how long it had been since she'd been in a space that felt like this, safe, lived in, human. Not a station, not a car, not an empty apartment. While Daniel made the call to report her situation, she sat there, absorbing the scene. A single dad doing his best. A child sleeping peacefully. A stranger offering help without hesitation. The world she'd grown guarded against suddenly showed her another side. The tow truck would take time. Roads were bad. Dispatch advised her to stay put. Daniel didn't hesitate to offer his guest room. He understood what it meant to be stranded, not just physically, but emotionally. He'd been there himself. As the night deepened, snow piling higher outside, the cop felt something unfamiliar settle in her chest, not weakness, but release. She thought about all the nights she'd spent convincing herself she didn't need anyone. About how strength had become synonymous with isolation. Sitting there, wrapped in warmth and quiet kindness, she realized how wrong that had been. Christmas morning came softly. Light filtered through snow-covered windows. The smell of coffee and toast filled the air. She woke feeling rested in a way she hadn't in months. When she stepped into the kitchen, Daniel was already up, moving carefully so as not to wake his daughter. He smiled, not the forced kind, but the tired, genuine kind. The tow truck arrived later that morning. Apologies were exchanged. Thanks were given. But gratitude felt too small a word for what she carried with her when she left. As she drove away, she looked back at the house once more, standing solid against the white, and felt something shift inside her, a reminder that even on the loneliest nights, light could appear from unexpected places. Back at work, the world resumed its pace. Sirens, reports, routines. But she was different now. Kinder in small ways. Slower to judge. More open. She found herself calling her parents. Saying yes to invitations. Letting people in, just a little. Weeks later, a card arrived at the farmhouse. Inside was a simple message of thanks and a photo of a city skyline at dusk. No promises. No expectations. Just connection. Daniel placed the card on the mantel beside his daughter's ornaments. He didn't know if their paths would cross again. He didn't need them to. That night had already done its work. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do is open a door on a cold night. Sometimes, saving someone doesn't require a badge or a grand gesture, just the courage to care. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness still matters in a world that often feels cold, please take a moment now to like, share, and subscribe to channel name. Your support helps keep these stories alive. And before the ending, we have one special request for you. Comment below with the word kindness if you believe one small act can change everything. As the snow melted and seasons changed, the memory of that Christmas stayed with both of them, not as a dramatic rescue, but as a quiet truth. That even when we feel lost, even when the road goes dark and the world falls silent, humanity has a way of finding us. And sometimes, everything changes simply because one person chose to help.